Hello there.
Hello.
Welcome to the Reconstructing History podcast. We're Bob and Kass, and we're going to let you guess who is who.
Yeah, you should welcome me back because I haven't
Oh,
been
yes.
here.
Welcome back because last week Kass was ill.
And the week before...
I let it out of the...
What? That I was ill?
No, they're telling us apart.
Oh.
Anyway.
You think they have trouble telling us apart?
Maybe. I don't know. So anyhow, Kass...
You don't think much of our viewers or listeners because, to be fair, your voice is a lot different from mine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am the one impression you can't do.
That's true. I really can't.
I mean, you've never tried, but... Well, maybe you've never tried. You've never tried in my presence. No one has ever ratted you.
Anyway, this is episode number 42.
42.
And in this episode, we're going to answer the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't.
The ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is why do printers suck so much?
What I was going to title this is episode 42, those goddamn motherfucking piece of shit printers.
But it won't fit on the card.
Yeah, and we'd probably get it taken down from YouTube because it's just foul. Anyway,
we're foul.
We all have
printers
them.
are foul. Printers are foul.
We all have them in
I
our
never
offices.
swore before I used printers.
We all have them in our offices, in our homes, and we all talk to them like I just referred to them. So we're going to talk about printers today.
Yeah.
But first, the news.
What?
Well, go ahead. That's your cue.
I've been out.
Nice.
No, the news is that I'm better. I'm not 100%, but I am better enough that I can return to work, and my stamina is getting better, and I can do stuff. And look, I washed my hair.
Yeah. You still have the plastic clip in it.
I know.
Which is fun.
Because it's still wet. But I washed my hair, which is something I don't do when I'm sick. And yeah, so I'm better. So I'm returning to work. So all you people who are waiting on stuff that I have to do, I'm going to start doing it again because I finally have enough. I don't have to go and take a nap after breakfast. So that's good. And you can tell because I was putting on my eyeshadow today and I noticed that where I was gored by the
Longhorn.
The vicious longhorn bull that I fought. No, I was accidentally bumped in the face by a longhorn cow who was,
When you were like, what, 8?
No, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a little bruise underneath the surface of my skin. And when my UC is acting up, there's so much inflammation in my body, you can't see it.
Oh, yeah, puffy.
And yet I went to put on my eyeliner today and went, oh, it's there, which means my inflammation is coming down. So I have a permanent bruise on my face, but it's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
And less eyeshadow.
Less eyeshadow, yes. Well, I wasn't exactly covering it all up with eyeshadow. When I was sick, I wasn't putting on eyeshadow when I was sick. But yeah, so it's all good news. I'm feeling so much better, and there's no reason to think that this isn't going to continue. So
we're back.
We're back. And all of the driving coat patterns are all out. The cycling jacket patterns are out. What else did we do?
Men's shirt,
men's simple trousers. Everything's in print. Everything I promised to be in print is now in print. And I'm working on the Moy gown revisions, which were pushed back a couple weeks because I couldn't stand.
So if you're waiting for a Moy gown, it's coming.
It's coming really soon.
Yeah.
And I've actually already looked at the instructions and everything, but now I'm going to go and do the draft. And don't worry, I'm not going to make a simplified version of the Moy gown because I don't do that. I'm not going to make a modern version that's Moy gown-ish. It's still going to be based on the historical garment. I'm just going to go back to the original and regrade it because I'm better at grading now than I was in 2009 when the pattern came out. And also, I'm going to put things on it like notches that will help you line things up, because before I think it was just like put this on your arm and line it up where it makes sense. And I know where it makes sense because I do this all the time, but maybe you don't know where it makes sense. And,
right.
And
so that's coming.
So that's like my whole
significant improvements.
Yes, that's my whole project this week. So if you've been waiting for a Moy gown pattern, they are like if you ordered one since I think March. We're holding them for the new version.
Right.
And if you've ordered a download, you've gotten the download. you will get a new download because the website will automatically ping you and say, hey, there's a new version of this available. So you don't even have to ask for it. If you've ordered on Etsy, if you ordered a Moy gown pattern and you want a new download, just email me at info@reconstructinghistory.com and I will send it to you. But Etsy doesn't let me, when I put up a new version on Etsy, it doesn't automatically push
Etsy won't push.
Yeah. And I don't think there's a way for me to gather the email addresses of everyone because it doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
Or else I would. But if you have it and you want a new one, email me. But wait a week because it's not ready yet. I just got better yesterday. So that's good. And then I'm going to be doing all those of you out there who are waiting for 208213. I'm going to be revising 208213 next, which So back in the saddle, working hard, and trying not to break myself because wow, I hate not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
But it was bad. It was bad.
There have been gallons of tea.
Yes.
Under the bridge.
Because tea helps.
Yeah.
Because tea.
And when you're having a flare, it's all I can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you want another cup of tea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I can do other than hover. Which she hates.
Oh my God.
Absolutely hates it.
I hate being sick and I hate people taking care of me when I'm sick. Like I remember when I had gallbladder disease and I would have a gallbladder flare up, I would lock myself in my room. I was staying with my mom for a little while because I kept having these things happen and then I couldn't go out and grocery shop or anything. And when I was at my mom's house and I would lock myself in my room and I would pace back and forth because you couldn't get away from the pain. So I would just walk for 90 minutes, 2 hours. I would just walk back and forth and she would be pounding on my door and I'm like, no, leave me alone.
Like you do.
Yeah, well, if you can't do anything, just the fluttering is if you could bring me the magical thing that will stop this from happening, I will let you in. But I know there's no magical thing, so...
Well, there is, but a claw hammer is only going to help a little bit.
That's why I lock myself in my room.
Nobody's gonna get murdered.
No one's gonna get murdered. So yeah, but I haven't been walking. I haven't been swimming. I feel like a frump, but I feel so much better today than I did 2 days ago even. So it's really
day
good.
by day.
It's really good.
Bit by bit.
It sucks to have a chronic disease, and those of you who have one know what I'm talking about. It sucks, but I think I'm coming out of it.
Yeah.
And,
the only other news thing I can think of is that shipping is getting better and better too. The whole holiday thing is finally over. So Global Mail is still taking weeks, but that's
the
Global
holiday
Mail.
thing isn't over yet.
Isn't it?
No, King's Day is Wednesday.
Oh yeah, locally.
And then we have they take off 16 days for Ascension and 23,000 days for Pentecost, which no one in this country can tell me what Pentecost is, and yet they take off 4 days for it. They're like, what is it? It's about some flower, because in Dutch it's called by the flower that Pinksters. I don't even know what a Pinkster is.
Pinksterdag.
Yeah, what Pinksters are, I don't know, but they bloom around Pentecost, which is strange because Pentecost isn't always on the same part of the month. But anyway, they're like, oh, it's Pinksterdag and we're going to shut down everything. So the bank doesn't work and the DHL doesn't pick up and all this kind of stuff. So,
And as of recording, we're 2 days away from Koningsdag.
Yeah.
The King's birthday, which is humongous.
Which, it's really funny because,
nobody cares about
the King.
Except to say, stay over there and be quiet.
Matter of fact, they're pretty mad about the King because the King took his family on vacation and
COVID drama, COVID scandal.
Had a party for the Crown Princess when she turned 18 or 21, 18, I think it is. And it was during a time when we weren't allowed to have more than 3 people in our houses. Mm-hmm. And they had a party for 20 people. And we're not like Britain. We don't go, oh yeah, but that's our king. No, we everybody hates him now.
But they're still going to put on orange.
Everybody puts on orange.
And has a garage sale.
Everybody takes the day off of work. Nobody's working. The banks are closed. Everybody gets drunk and they have a garage sale.
Because it's funny. We have VAT here. And technically, when you have a garage sale, you're supposed to charge VAT.
But if you're
supposed
not
to
a-
collect VAT.
If you're not a business, you don't have.
It's hard to.
You don't have a VAT
right,
number,
so you can't actually submit it. So, the
if
law's
you go there
screwed.
with cash, it's like the only way you can cheat on your
But
taxes.
on King's Day, on Koningsdag, that's waived.
Oh, is it waived?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought people just cheated.
No.
Oh, it's waived. Yeah, so
around King's Day, you've got the Vlooimarkt, you've got the Snuffelmarkt, and the flea markets, the boot sales.
Yeah, car boot sales.
Yeah, and
garage sales.
and neighbors basically trading their unused stuff back and forth across the front garden.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a fun week.
It's a lot of fun, but the point is
mystifying
that in
for
the middle
people
of the
like
week,
us at first, we're like, what is going on? Yeah, on Wednesday.
But in the middle of the week,
closed.
Everything's closed. I'm gonna be working because I need to catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's gonna be closed. So and then May has like I said, Ascension.
But then there'll be nothing until Christmas.
Yeah, from June until the beginning of December, there's nothing. So
spring is a lot of time off here in the Netherlands. But
well, and then people take off like a month and a half in August or something. But you know,
the work climate here is really cool too, because we found out from our suppliers for our paper and other consumables that because we tried to order paper one day and no one was picking up the phone or answering the email. And when we finally got through to them several days later, it's because, oh yeah, when it gets over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, like 30 degrees C, they just shut.
Yeah.
Because it gets too hot in the warehouse.
Yeah, it's too hot in the warehouse. And isn't it interesting how they pay people a decent wage and they let them have bathroom breaks?
Yeah. But that's, I remember.
You know what? The military, the Dutch military has a union here. So, you know.
I think there's 3 of them.
3?
One for the officers, one for the lower enlisted, and one for the NCOs.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't fact check me on that. But I know there's one for the officers and one for the enlisted. But I think there's one for NCOs
and this
as well.
thing with the warehouses happened. It happened before COVID because during COVID, but when it happened before COVID, we had a couple of days that were 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And 40 degrees C is like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was
what's the thing? Double it and add 30.
Yeah, it was bad.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was ridiculous.
It was really, really hot.
And of course, the big warehouses,
they don't have air
they don't
conditioning.
have AC.
No.
So they just send everyone home.
Yeah.
The one place was open like 2 hours in the morning. They would come in for 2 hours in the morning. Then when it got too hot, they'd go, meh.
Yeah. And you know, what can you say to that? You're just like, oh, you mean people aren't dying to get me stupid paper? Okay. Yeah. Everything's fine.
That's fine.
And
whereas Americans are like, oh yes, it's sitting in the ICU with, having my kidney was just replaced, so I might be 20 minutes late replying to your email. It's just the difference here is night and day, kids.
Yeah. And it's really kind of funny when we talk to Dutch people on the phone, Dutch business people on the phone, they're all like, oh, I don't know. They think that we're going to act like Americans and say, I need it yesterday. I'm like, no, I don't need it yesterday. It's fine. Whatever is fine. And I mean, because most of the time, I mean, we don't largely offer express service because we don't know if we can get things out the door that fast. Because, I mean, I don't know if you all know this, but we print, when your order comes in, that's when we print the pattern.
On demand, baby.
Yeah, we don't
Speaking of goddamn motherfucking piece of shit printers.
I'd like to finish my sentence first.
Oh, no. I'm not making, that's not a segue.
That's not a segue. It would be a good segue if I had finished my sentence. Jesus Christ. So, no, I mean, we print on demand. I've always been in love with the Japanese concept of just in time. And so, you have just in time ordering. So when we don't carry inventory, I mean, we have paper and we have ink and we have baggies and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have all the patterns printed, which is why we can have, over 400 patterns. And, because if you have the patterns printed, they sit on a shelf and sometimes they get.
We tried that for a time when we only had 200 some.
Yeah.
And it was for just me
you
doing
would
it.
Always order the things that weren't on the shelf.
Because, we have certain titles that are very popular.
Yeah.
And those are never sitting.
Yeah, so the good news is nothing is ever out of stock because we can always print it.
Right.
So you can order something we haven't sold a copy of in a year because, we're going to print it. But we print on on demand. And, we normally we print what, like Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Friday?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if we get more orders, we
Oh, yeah, of course.
And when we get wholesale orders, we print whenever we
Yeah.
get the wholesale orders. But we don't print every single day because we don't have to. We print as the volume comes in.
Because there's also a minimum size shipment I
yeah.
can make. Because here's how it works, kids. Your order comes in. I print it.
Make a little flow chart.
I print it. I print the packing ticket. I make a label for the package.
It's only we do animation to have this little guy with his packing ticket.
I'll put Clippy down here in the corner.
No.
Clippy.
Clippy is evil. Did you see that episode
of Lower Decks?
Yeah.
Badgie.
Yeah, Badgie. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Too real.
Badgie is evil.
Too real.
Yeah.
Too real.
Wow, we're all over the place today. We're so excited about being back together.
Oh my God.
Anyway, your order comes in. I print the packing ticket. I print the shipping label. Now, we ship by Global Mail, which is serviced by DHL. It's Deutsche Post Global Mail. And the trouble with Global Mail is that I don't make like a big pile of packages and send each package individually. Mm-hmm. I have to ship them to Global Mail. Yeah. And there's only a certain, they only allow me to ship to Global Mail from here to Frankfurt in Germany in a certain size box.
Yeah.
So I would ship every day, but I need to fill one of these great big ass boxes up. So
and as we've been doing more and more download orders, we're selling fewer and fewer paper patterns, which is great for the environment because we don't have to use we don't have to print so much. But yeah, if you get like it always happens that we have like a Monday is always a big print day because Monday is after everyone who's ordered for the weekends, and after a certain point on Friday, that's everything that gets printed.
When I tape up the box that goes on Friday.
Yeah. And then so Monday, he's printing and folds everything up and packs everything up and puts it in the box and stuff. And then the DHL man comes and takes the box away, and then we'll get an order.
Like always, within like 10 minutes, a new print order will come in.
So, the long and the short of it is, if you want a paper pattern fast, don't order on a Monday. Because you're not going to get printed for a few days.
Yeah, if you do order on a Monday, order like something before 10 a.m. our time, GMT.
Yeah, it's usually orders from like the US. Yeah. So somebody's waking up and ordering first thing on a Monday, but here it's
because it'll come in at like 1 p.m., which is like 7 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, which everything's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how it works. And then another thing I wanted to say, I got a couple of emails while I was sick. People were like, I don't understand, it says my package is delivered, but I don't know where my package is delivered. And I can't look at, Deutsche Post doesn't say anything. And if you're in the US, pop that number into USPS.com.
Yeah, the number that's on the end that pops up that'll have like LY, bunch of numbers, DE.
Yeah.
That's the customs form number.
Yeah.
And USPS tracks.
Yeah. And so does
number.
Royal Mail.
Yep.
And
Everybody tracks with that.
Does the Swedish Post.
Yeah.
So does
if your National Postal Service has a website that allows you to track things, you can track it using that number.
Australia Post, New Zealand Post. I mean, I've done it for a number of different customers.
Yeah, these databases are all integrated because the customs has to talk to the Postal Service and it's all computer.
It always works. So basically, what we're trying to say, and I think I put this in the FAQ, but it's long and no one reads the FAQ.
Right.
But so how we ship your stuff is we ship your stuff to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt goes, go my pretties to wherever you go in the world. And when that item gets to your country, it goes to your local postal service.
To the customs service.
Yeah. But it goes to your local postal service. So, if you're in the US, it's always going to go by USPS. So if you're looking for it on DHL.com, it's not going to be on DHL.com because DHL isn't going to deliver it.
Right.
So,
even though it's DHL Global Mail, it's still not DHL.
Because DHL...
And in many places in the United States, DHL doesn't deliver to your door anyway. It all comes
they deliver to the Postal Service.
They ship. Anyway.
So you have this number that starts with 2 letters and then has a bunch of 9 numbers. Something and then ends with DE, which is for Germany, because that's the origin of the post.
Yeah.
And plug that into your national mail carrier website, and you'll get your tracking information, and it'd be better tracking information than, I mean, you can, if you click on the thing that you get from our website, it's going to take you to Deutsche Post, but Deutsche Post will say stuff like, at origin, leaving for destination country, and then there'll be a big gap.
Yeah.
And then it'll finally say delivered, but it won't give you that stuff in between.
Because that's generally when it's in customs.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not when it's in customs. That's when it's in the local mail services system.
Well,
and then Deutsche Post only updates when it's delivered,
that's right.
but it won't tell you anything else. It'll say, it departed for destination country, but it won't say it was received, and it won't say it's
what
in
I was
customs.
getting at is that sometimes there's a gap between what you can see with the tracking that we send you and the tracking you can get on your country's postal service website.
Yeah.
If there's a gap, like if you see that it was something on DHL and then nothing, you go to your local postal service and look it up, and they don't have anything yet, it's sitting in customs.
Yeah. And
so
and
that's international shipping.
Yeah.
So
and the fact that we can do international shipping for so little. I mean, somebody wrote to me and was like, "This is outrageous. It's $14.95 to ship. How dare you?" And I'm like, "We're in Europe. You're in the United States.
There's a pretty big pond that your package has to come across on
and
an airplane."
And if you can find, I know how much that costs to send to Europe, because when we lived in the U.S., we used to ship stuff to Europe.
Yeah.
And it's not $14.95. No, you pay a lot more to ship to us than we pay to ship to you. Mm-hmm. So, and if you
can find something cheaper, please email us, because I would love to find a less expensive alternative.
Yeah, it just, there's no way, we put the website, the website is location sensitive so that you get prices in your home currency. And we do that because people look at a price that's not in their currency and don't know how much it costs.
Right.
So, you can change it. You can see what it is in euros, but if you're in the United States, it's going to say USD. And then people make the mistake of thinking we're in the US. A lot of companies do this. Mm-hmm. And most notably Vistaprint, who makes your little cheap business cards and everything. They're here. They're like literally down the street. I
was last week years old when I figured this out. We've been using them for literally 15, 20
I knew they
years.
were Dutch when I went to order new ones. I went to order new ones like 2-3 years ago. And I was like, what? Hey?
Yeah.
Oh, the site came up.
No idea.
Vistaprint.nl.
And it was in Dutch.
And I was like, what? And then, they were always Dutch. And then I just found out like a couple weeks ago that we could practically walk there.
Yeah. It'd be cheaper to drive over and pick them up, even with gas at $12 a gallon.
Yeah, it's insane. But so we're not doing that to try to fake anyone out. We do that because people like to see the price in their own currency, and so shipping is from here to there, and it's as cheap as we can get it, which is pretty cheap. $14.95, and $14.95. I'm talking U.S. dollars. $14.95 is the price that you pay for whatever. Yeah. Until you hit that $100 US mark, and then you get free shipping. So $14.95. It might be, well, it's not even really that expensive for one pattern, considering the size of our patterns. Right. But you're certainly beating things if you've got more than one pattern in the package. And, and then order $100 worth and you get free shipping. So, and that's everywhere in the world. So, or download. Speaking of downloads. Yeah. We're all about this shipping and all this kind of stuff we're talking about. We're supposed to be talking about damn fucking printers.
Goddamn motherfucking
printers.
Piece of shit printers.
Back in the day.
We all have them.
Yeah.
We all hate them.
Yeah. I used to work in an office, and I was a graphic designer, and I had to deal with the printer all the time. And I had to deal with a bunch of different printers, and one was the office printer, and then the other one was the graphic design department printer, which you didn't use until you were doing proofs.
Yeah, right.
So when you were doing just shit that you want to see how it looks for yourself, you do it on the cheap printer, and then there's the graphic design printer, and then of course there's the stuff you send off site to the print house.
The proof, and then production. Right.
So I know my printers, and I know what a pain in the ass they all are. And we own a number. We've owned inkjets and toner printers, laser printers, printers that use wax, like every kind of printer you could possibly imagine we have owned. And they all have their quirks, and you have to learn their quirks.
They have different drivers. They have different this. They have different that. They have different the other thing.
Yeah, and it's just insane. Desktop printers do not print to the edge of a page, no matter what.
In the industry, we call that full bleed.
Yeah, full bleed. If you want full bleed from a desktop printer, basically you put in a sheet that's bigger than what you want.
And then you take one of those old school chopping things and you cut it down.
And we used to do that. I mean, the graphic design department always had the one with the Ginsu knife, and then the one with the the roller one.
Yep, the guillotine
always
thing.
Get them
always crooked.
Always crooked. Always crooked.
Or take the tip of your finger off.
Oh God, I hated them. But yeah, so printing to the edge of a page is not something that any printer, any desktop, home, office printer does, to the best of my knowledge. They have to have a place where the printer holds the paper. So because they're feeding sheets, there's a place where they're never going to print on the sides. And if you look at your printer, you'll notice, like, if you say 0 margins, it'll tell you, oh no, we have to have this big a margin, and it'll give you an error.
Could be 1/4 inch, could be a 1/2 inch. Each printer is different.
And even if you were able to ignore the error and said, no, I want zero margins, it's still going to print with margins because there's a piece on the edge where it has to feed, and a piece at the top too. So, and sometimes it's on the left side, sometimes it's on the right side, sometimes it's on both sides. It differs by brand, it differs by printer. So when you are printing a download, specifically a tile download, so the downloads that we sell that say US letter or A4, those are tiled. And basically what that means is that we take the big printer pages that we have, the big sheet, and in Adobe Acrobat, we say print tiled. And what it does is it prints a piece.
Splits it into bunches of different pages.
Yeah,
like you'll take let's say an Archie sheet, 36 by 48, and it'll print it in a bunch of 8.5 by 11 or A4 sheets. It'll go left to right, just like you're reading a book, just like it's scanning, just like it's printing it through the wide format machine that we've got over here that we print the big sheets on. It's just spitting out pages of PDF pages in these page sizes. Yeah.
Now the problem is, the problem is that we cannot control your printer.
Right.
So on every page there are crop marks. Where it shows you the little circle with the X through it.
Crop marks. Yeah. Crop marks are where, if you're printing it full bleed or through a machine that has the guillotine, that's where it'll cut. So when you're printing the reason those crop marks are there are for when you're using Adobe Acrobat. When you're using Adobe Acrobat to print proof pages, the client can see the crop marks and go, oh, okay, that's what the final full bleed is going to look like between those crop marks.
And it's also for when you're doing a proof to show to the client a nice cleaned up proof that you know exactly where to cut it.
Yes.
And because you could screw it up and say and leave a bit of white there, and then when you send it to the print shop, it prints with a bit of white there, and then you get fired. So there are crop marks that are there in every page, and then there's like little.
You can see them when you look at them in your Acrobat reader. You can see the crop marks there. The problem is, invariably, except in a few circumstances, those crop marks aren't going to print on a home printer, or they'll print partially, or they'll print in one side or one corner and not anywhere else.
Yeah, and that's something we cannot control. That's your printer.
Right.
And that's not anything we can do. Like we tried an experiment just recently to say, can we give people crop marks? And so we made the margins of the page huge so that the crop marks would print, and the crop marks still don't print.
Right.
Because
it puts it where it's going to be.
So if you have a printer that prints very close to the edge of the page, you'll see the crop marks. But if you don't, you might not see crop marks at all.
Yeah.
Also, possibly the more important thing is at the top left-hand corner of each page, there's two numbers in parentheses. And these two numbers are the number of the row and the number of
the page in the row, or the page in the row.
Yeah, the column in the row.
Yeah.
So if you have
That's
a page that says 5, 1, that is the fifth page in the first row.
Yep.
So that's how you figure out how to line them up. Now, ultimately, they print in order. So the first page in the first row prints first, and the last page in the last row prints last.
But if, like me, sometimes you click print, you walk away, and you forget that your catch tray can only handle like 22 sheets, and you come out and it looks like the artificial snow machine went off at the ski resort in your office.
Yeah.
Right?
Happens.
Putting them back in order can be a trial. There are two ways you can go about doing it. First, use your number, comma, number. Second, refer to the file that's probably still open on your desktop that has all your different pages in Adobe Acrobat, your Acrobat reader. You can then look at each individual sheet and it becomes a jigsaw, but you have to do the jigsaw anyway when you tape it together to make it full size.
And now about the jigsaw. So unfortunately...
Which leads us to...
Yeah. Unfortunately, if the papers all fall on the floor and they get mixed up, you're going to have to put them back in order.
Right.
But if those numbers don't print on your page because your printer doesn't print that far to the edge, then you're going to have to look at your computer. But your computer's right there.
Yeah.
So just look at it and see what pages. I can't put them back in order. I put them in order for you in the first place. I can't put them back in order for you magically.
It's not as easy as, resorting a deck of playing cards into numbers and suits.
But in every download, we give you a shrunken version of the full-size pages.
Well, that's what we're getting there. We're not there. We're
yet?
talking about putting them back in order after the printer has sprayed them all over the room.
Right.
You can, because the pages are all in order in the file, you just go through and you match them up.
Yeah. And
each is unique.
Yeah.
Typically, each is unique.
Typically, each goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are some patterns that don't go that far, but typically
because some patterns orient portrait in the rows, some orient landscape because it wants to be efficient when it renders these tiles to use the least pages,
but
the fewest pages.
In every case, you have the file open on your desktop. Look at the file.
Yeah.
The pages in the file are always in order.
Yep.
So there you go.
Now we can get to the thing about what it's supposed to look like all taped up. Because the registration marks, if the registration marks print in a perfect world, when you overlay each tile to tape them together, you're going to have to overlay them. They're going to have to overlap to a certain extent. And the registration marks are there so that everything lines up nice. If the registration marks don't print, you might be going, well, oh my God, how big are the margins? What do I do? And the answer to that is figure out what your printer margins are in your driver. We can't help you do that. There's 8 bajillion different kinds of printer out there. Each of them has their own driver. Each of them has their own user interface. There's no possible way we can know what you've got. So I'm sorry, but you're on your own there. Second,
I wish there was a better way we could do it. I
so
really
do.
do. But
as Kass noted earlier, included in your download are small versions of what the full-size sheet should look like when it's together.
Yeah, and so they are to scale.
They are to scale. So
they're not to scale.
It prints
They fit on a page, so it
right.
might not be to scale.
But it gives you what the complete picture should look like.
Right.
So you'll know if the bottom of the sheet is supposed to have a nice swooping curve because that's the hem of your frock coat. And when you've put your tiles together, you've got one sheet like this, so that the curve goes you know that sheet is a little bit off. You tweak it up until it's in line and you're done.
Yeah.
Because one thing that frustrates a lot of people is when things don't line up exactly, people get worried.
Yeah.
Take it from us.
Particularly beginners. I think beginners get freaked out because they think...
Or people who've never used a download before.
Yeah. If all the lines don't touch each other, that they're going to have a disaster. It does not have to be millimetrically perfect. You are not building the space shuttle.
Yes. TLDR. Don't worry about it. Get it close and fudge.
Really, truly, really, truly. There is more play in the lines than you're going to make a mistake cutting it.
Yeah.
You're not going to cut it as millimetrically perfectly as you're lining it up.
Even with things like corsets, because people will always, well, what about a corset? That those size lines are really close together, and it's got to be so fitted to a fairly well. Read the instructions till you get to the bit where it tells you to cut out the pattern pieces out of Bristol board and then tweak those.
Yeah.
The long and the short of it is, TLDR, you're going to be tweaking everything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So unless something is really obviously screwed up, like that hemline goes like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people send me photos of, I can't make them line up, and I look at the photo and I go, that's lined up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It doesn't need to be watertight.
No.
It doesn't need to be hermetically sealed.
And if your printer
it doesn't need to get you out of and back into Atmo.
If the printer isn't printing to the edge, you might be able to put those two pages smack next to each other. And there's a piece in there that doesn't have a line because that's where your printer didn't print.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drew a line between them, it would be correct.
Yeah.
So I
mean, got your Sharpie pen.
Yeah, I guess the long and the short of it is, don't freak out.
Yeah.
Look at the scale version, and if your big piece looks the same, then you're good.
Yeah.
And if the lines are a little off, know that it's. I mean, if you want to move them until they're perfect, but I wouldn't worry about it that much.
I just want to say it's easy for us. To say, don't worry about it, because we've been doing this for a good long time.
Yeah.
It's like, a famous chef going, just throw a pinch of that in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about something like fenugreek.
Yeah.
So we understand that we value
You're
and
saying words I don't even understand.
honor your worry.
I don't cook anything.
She really doesn't. We honor and value your worry. We hear you.
Yeah.
We respect your worry.
And we are always looking for a way to do it better.
We are always trying to improve it. And every time we make an improvement, we'll come on the podcast and tell you in the news that we've improved the download, and if you've ordered from our website, we'll push you a new copy, blah, 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 blah.
And if you don't want to deal with all these little pages, you can always order the full-size print shop version and take it to a print shop. Mm-hmm. Or you can order the full-size print shop version and tile it yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you're tiling it for your printer, and it will print like as you want it to. And that's way back in the day. When we first started downloads, we started doing downloads as tiles, and then we got so many people complaining about the tiled pages didn't line up that I went to full-size versions and wrote instructions how to tile yourself. Right. And then people got really angry because, I don't have that expensive version of Photoshop, or not Photoshop, Adobe Acrobat, which you don't need. But apparently Mac users, Adobe. There's a
now
podcast.
We transitioned into the podcast entitled Kass Hates
There's
Macs.
a podcast out there that you could look up on our YouTube channel that's called Mac versus PC, where I went on this rant, so I'm not going to do it again. But they fucking piss me off with their not working together horseshit.
Boy, the bleep is going to get a workout in this one.
We don't bleep anything.
I'm going to bleep these.
No, you're not.
Oh, you watch me.
No, you're not.
I'm up for the challenge.
Oh, fuck off. Pansy.
So.
Afraid of a little fuck.
Phrasing, Lana.
Phrasing.
So, the long and the short of it
is we don't know your printer as well as you know your printer. So you kind of have to work with that.
Yeah.
I will help you any way I can. But don't be too persnickety if all the lines don't line up perfectly, or if there's a little space between the lines, because that's how things print from a desktop printer.
Get it as close as you can. Match it to, as best you can, to the layout the sample layout that you get as 1 page or 2 pages, 3 pages, I don't know, in the download, depending on how many big sheets there are. Match that up as close as you can. If you're really concerned about it, cut a muslin and fiddle with that.
Yeah.
Because if anything's too terrible wrong, you're going to end
and
up...
ultimately, everything has a 5/8 inch seam allowance.
Right.
So, really, you would have to be almost an inch off with your lines for it to matter.
I mean, some things it's 3/8 or a 1/2 inch.
Yeah, but not much.
But not much.
But still,
those are very particular.
Yeah, but even so, you know, I mean,
it's just not that big of a deal, folks.
Yeah, it's don't worry about it.
Yeah,
you're getting upset over nothing, and it's
textile engineering isn't the same kind of engineering as puts things into space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There's more play.
Yeah, the amount that your scissors don't cut properly is bigger than the amount that your lines are going to be off.
Yeah, we could run down a whole list of reasons. Like when one of the cut lines goes on the bias and you lift it a little too much as you're cutting. Ask me how I know how much that can screw.
Don't make
things
yourself
up.
crazy.
It's easy to make yourself crazy, and it just gonna have to deal with it.
But printers suck. We empathize with you. We use printers every day. We just one died on us.
Oh yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, our laser, our color laser that does all the 8.5 by 11 and A4 sheets that you find in an envelope. It just up and died. It started making a horrible noise. It sounded like stripped gears, and turns out it was stripped gears.
It wasn't a year old.
No, not even. Well, we rot them hard and put them away wet.
We do. Because the same thing happened to me when you were in the States last year.
Yep.
When I bought that printer, because it was printing, like every once in a while it would print a white streak down the middle of a page that should have.
Wow, yeah.
And not like every page, like it was out of toner. It would just every once in a while it would print a white streak. And I called the company and they were like, "Oh, we'll send you new toner." And we went through new toner, new drum, new all this kind of stuff. And then it ended up, oh, your printer is way over the
page
capacity,
count,
the page count that's rated for. And I was like, I just bought a new drum and a new this and a new that. And wonderful. Our
We've now bought like 4 of the exact same model.
Yeah, but they gave me the money back on the drum and everything, which was really kind because I mean they couldn't restock it; it was used. But they were like, "Oh yeah, you need a new printer." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great."
And there was the time the big plotter. Mm-hmm. The big plotter just kept throwing error after error after error, and I got so mad.
Oh my god!
On the other side of the house, in a completely different room, Kass couldn't hear what I was saying, but she heard the fury.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what worked. What worked?
Give it a thump?
Nope. I went out to the garage, into my toolkit, got the biggest hammer I could find, walked back into the office where that printer was sitting there and went, "You see this, you fucker?"
Did that work? It worked. Threats worked.
You work, or I'm going to take you apart with this. I walked back out to the garage, put the hammer back in my toolkit, walked back in. That thing worked fine.
And that's this one that has been like all over the world with us. It behaves really well now. Well, this is the
threaten it with a 3-pound lump hammer.
This is the mockery of it. Our big printer, the printer that we print the wide format pages on, is really, really good.
It's reliable as
it's
hell.
It's really, really
essentially,
good.
It is much far less complicated than any laser printer. Because essentially the big printer that we print all the pattern files on is the same printer as your inkjet that sits on your desktop that you bought at Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just 18 times as large and takes, the little tiny ink cartridges that you complain about cost $20 each.
Ours are 750 milligrams.
We have these ones the size of wine bottles.
Not just wine bottles, magnums. Aren't those are? Oh, I don't drink wine.
No, Magnum is twice. So, 750 milliliters.
Yeah.
That's a bottle of wine. There are 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, it's robust.
We don't print with wine, though. That wouldn't be...
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Would it?
It would smell so much better.
Oh, God.
We at least get yellow and purple.
I guess we would. So
maybe pink, delicate pinks.
That's great.
From blush and rosé.
Yeah, I'll start making patterns in delicate pinks. So that's the deal. Printers suck, and we all know printers suck.
Goddamn motherfucking piece of shit.
How much printers suck. Yeah, we hate how much printers suck, And you know how much printers suck.
So repeat after me.
Yeah.
The next time you get frustrated when trying to print a download, you goddamn motherfucking piece of shit, work, or I'm getting the hammer.
And then it will work. No, I used to have a thing where like HP printers, you used to have to sweet talk. But we had like IBM printers.
No,
that
never
you
sweet
had...
talk them. That just shows weakness.
No. But you had to sweet talk them. That's the only thing that worked. And then we had like IBM printers when they made printers. And you had to threaten them. And that was the thing. I don't know.
Anyhow, that's the story from here, folks.
Yep.
This is the point where we tell you or ask you
Like, subscribe thingy.
like, subscribe, comment. It really helps us when you do that. In all seriousness, it really helps us when you ring the bell and do all that stuff. YouTube hates it when people don't do that. So give us that, and keep an eye on us. Up here in the corner, there'll be a card to other videos. So go watch other videos, and you can learn a bunch of stuff about how we do things. Keep up with us, and that's it. We'll see you next time.